Up to you, mate. What are we doing? What, were we doing, the round ball or the oval?
We'll do the overall ball because you got
All
it
right.
with you, mate. I
Right.
thought you said it was the 11 football, but
Yeah.
we'll do the 15 because I've still got players in my head for the 15. It may be in and
Okay.
out, but again,
Right. Okay. Let's go then. Right. Back to back consecutive nights. Here we are. East meets West. World. I just thought we were going to do football. We've chosen to do rugby. We'll do the football one. We'll keep that for another night. That's in the back burner. That's an easy one to do, isn't it? Right. So I've got my list. World 15. Right. Now I've done this in mind of. This isn't my best 15 players I've ever seen. Some of them are, but this is my team. So there's definitely one, at least two, that you might go, come on. But this is my team. No, it's probably three that you'll question. But like I said, there's a few players who are arguably best ever in their position. And there's a few that are in there just because they're my favourite players. So, question is, do you want to go your team first, my team first, or should we do it your loose head, my loose head, your hooker, my hooker?
do it. We'll do it that way. Like we'll
Yeah?
do
All
each
right.
position, but
Yeah.
I'll let you start.
All right. So, this is the first of my questionable picks. I don't know an awful lot about loose heads, and the best ones are ones that I've never really watched, i.e., people talk about like Osdu Rant and obviously, oh, for Christ's sake, England, Jason Leonard, and all that lot. Obviously, a bit before my time. I can remember Osdu Rant playing for South Africa in the '07 World Cup, but I think he was towards the tail end. So, based on a bit of character and a bit of fun, I've gone for the recently retired Joe Marler, mate. Because
Joe
I think
Marler's a
he's
good
underrated.
one.
I think he's underrated player, mate. I think he gets, because of his character and his personality, people forget he's actually a hell of a player.
Oh, mate, he studied England for a long time. But
Yeah,
I will go with I'll go with my one. He's a
go on.
fellow Englishman. He was our Lucid in 2003 World Cup. Like literally, he was amazing for England at that time. He had to retire early. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go for Trevor Wood.
yeah, solid, solid. He. I considered him, but I thought no, that's going off what I've heard people say and not what I've seen myself. So yeah,
Yeah,
solid though.
he was
Solid though.
solid. Like,
Yeah.
kept
I did.
Jason Leonard on the bench. I had close ones. They were the Beast, Joe Marler,
Yeah, yeah.
also Osterant. Very, very good loosehead props and stuff like that.
I
But
considered
yeah,
I considered Sheridan, but I thought
Andrew
maybe
Sheridan,
not,
great prop again, very strong.
maybe maybe not for long enough, you know. Um, but yeah, yeah. I think we got a good pair there. Hooker. Now this was tricky. The ones that came to mind were, I wanted to put Cowan Dickey in there for the Cornish connection. I didn't. I considered Chalk Brits, hell of a player. I considered, hang on. I considered John Schmidt, the box captain. I considered Malcolm Marks, again another Springbok, but I went with Dane Coles, Kiwi, 15 World Cup. He
Yeah.
was my pick. What about you?
See, there's quite a few with me. I would have gone for. You could have had it, Steve Thompson,
Yeah,
Malcolm Marks, John Smith. What a great hooker slash loosehead, or wherever he wanted to play in the front three. Um, Again, Dan Coles, Joe Moody. You
Yeah,
got Hook. You know what I mean? There's, um, but there's one player like who's done it, but the country's not been the best country for me, and I'm missing out Kevin Mialamu here as well.
yeah.
He's Argentine hooker,
Oh yeah. Um,
Crevi.
Cordero, Karevi. That's it.
No,
Yeah,
Creevy. Creevy. What?
yeah, yeah.
The
I,
guy
I can pic-
is a
I can
beast.
picture him. I know who you're on about. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
played
can
for
jackal. He played
so long.
up to last year, up to the age of 40, and the guy's
Mm.
he was still doing like stuff. He was still. Yeah, I just think like to me, a lot of people go, no, he's not. He's this, that, the other. But to me, it's about what you do for your country and how you produce all the time. And he produced
Yeah,
every single match, club and country.
yeah. Fair. Can't argue with that one. I think he's a bit like the modern day hooker, and Cowan Dickey and Malcolm Marks are very much like this. They play like back rowers in the loose, you know,
Yeah,
in terms of their ability over the ball and jackling, all that sort of thing. Right, tight head, no brainer for me. Um, I've got four rugby autobiographies on my bookshelf, and this is one of them. All
yeah,
four players of the team, by the way. Phil Vickery, no doubt. World Cup winner, two times Lions
yeah,
tourist, England captain in '07. I just love the guy. He was on the rest of the overlap rugby pod the other day. Unbelievable. It made me happy, that episode. It's just the way he speaks is how, in my view, a Cornishman should speak. And I just think he's a tough player, great scrummager, all round. Just yeah, on his day, injury free, one of the best, no doubt.
yeah. He's up there. There's been a lot of good tight end props,
Yeah.
but mine has to be one person only. He was a beast as a scrummager. He had the engine of a bloody back, and again, strength of a bloody ox, and that has to be Carl Heyman.
Oh yeah. See, that one did cross my mind, but again, I would have been going off hearsay, and I've never. I can remember the first All Blacks game I watched would have been the '07 World Cup against France, and I imagine he played that. I can't remember. I was only what 13. Um, but yeah, everything I've heard about him suggests unbelievable. A lot bigger, taller than your typical prop back then. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just for me. It was just a bit before my time. In terms of knowing what I'm talking about and watching. But solid pick that, mate. Whoa, that's tremendous. Right, second
yeah.
rows.
I look at Carl Heyman.
Oh, go
Oh,
on, yeah.
second rows
Sorry.
we're going to go on to.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do my second rows first? Then, so I'll do
All
my
right, yeah.
one of my second rows is John Hills for Australia.
Oh, Australia. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Australian cap. You know what I mean? What a wow! Just the guy was a great player. I didn't see much. Like I saw a bit of him towards the end of his career and how good he was.
Yeah,
Um, but again, like he was solid. He was solid, mate. And the other
nice.
one. Do you want me to go through my other one first?
Go on. I got a feeling we've
It's
got
got to
one
be
in common.
Martin Johnson.
Yeah, yeah. That was a no doubt, no brainer. He's one of mine. Again, bit before my time, really, but I've seen enough of. I've watched the Lions '97 doc and the '01 documentary enough times. I've seen enough like England videos and documentaries to know, and just interviews with him. You know, a lot of these guys are people that I like to listen to and hear from, as opposed to just watch. Yeah, Mark Johnson.
Yeah.
And I've cheated a little bit in my second one because he started certainly his international career and I think club career. This guy started as a second row, but he now is arguably one of the best back rows you'll ever see. I had to put him in. I wanted to put Victor Matfield in, but I went for Peter Steph.
Like, he can play second row. He can do it all.
I've seen him play for the Springboks plenty of times, second row, alongside Etzebeth. Then obviously he developed into this absolute monster in the back row. But my back row are too good, in my opinion. So yeah, I went Martin Johnson and Peter Statutoy. Number 6, the only
Number
Frenchman
6 for me.
in my
There's
team.
only,
I went Thierry
oh, who have you
Dupont.
gone for number 6? Oh,
Thierry
that's a good
Dupont.
one. That one.
Man of the match in the 2011 World Cup final and lost the
I
game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think he got like something
yeah
daft, like 38 tackles when France beat All Blacks in '07. To lose, oh, just unreal. You?
yeah. Great player in his day. Great player. My number 6. Gonna have to stick with the old boy, Richard Hill.
Oh, yeah. See,
What a player.
again,
Solid.
a bit before my time, but everything you hear about him, and I've seen it. I've seen a few old clips. Mate, monstrous. Went under the radar,
He did all that. He did
but
like yeah. He did all the stuff
all,
what no one ever saw, but it
yeah,
worked.
yeah. The perfect balance with him, Neil Back, and Lawrence in that loose forward trio. Perfect. Solid that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, little pitbull, nil back.
Oh, yeah. Um, Richie McCaw, 7.
Yeah, that's standard. I think everyone's gonna go Richie McCaw.
The the
Don't even have
people
to
that
speak about him really.
I mean, no, I mean it was never in doubt, but just for the sake of it, my David Pocock for me went close. Very good. Sam Warburton, very good. Probably underrated. Um, but yeah, Richard, oh, mate, he's the second of my 4 autobiographies I got. Unreal, mate. The character, oh, leadership, just the brains on the boy. So he's my 7. Who's your open side flanker? Who's your pain in the referee's ass?
Richie McCaw, mate. That's to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you can't say nothing. Like when I watch Richie McCaw, the way that guy just used to jackal, he used to be in his ref's ear, but he's so good at being in the ref's ear, but knowing the rules better than the ref.
Did everything. Could do it all. Popped up with the odd try
He
as
knew. He
well.
just
Engine. Engine.
yeah. Oh, massive engine.
Um, Number 8. I've gone for possibly better number 8s, but this guy just encapsulates what a number 8 should be, in my opinion. Is Dwayne Vermeulen, South Africa. Yeah. That's heavy duty bit of kit, that, isn't it?
That's a good choice.
Oh, you could argue that like someone like
Me, that I think that
you could argue like Kieran Reid's probably a better all-round player, but for blunt force trauma,
oh
Vermeulen. So I keep going, mate. There we go. Back.
yeah,
So I don't know what happened there. Yeah, who's your 8
you
then?
keep going on and off, mate.
Hang on. Technical problems.
So I looked at
Okay.
it. You had RD Surveyor up for a shout. You had Kieran Reid up for a shout. You had Zinzan Brook up for a shout. Scott Quinnell, you had up for a shout. David Pocock at number 8, you could have had up for a
Yeah.
shout. But for me, again, you had Aaron Alderkey, what could have been up for a shout.
Louis Pickemore.
Spieth could have been up for a shout, the South African years ago. For me, it'd have to be Lawrence Dallaglio.
I get that.
Oh,
Right, we keep
hello, mate.
reconnecting. Maybe next time I won't take the dog out. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm back in now, so I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Oh, sorry, mate. Did you hear what I
You're
said?
fine. Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence Dallaglio, mate, just because of what he did for Wasps, England, the guy's captain ability, the leadership ability, everything like that, mate. He just works. He works.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, there are a lot of people that I missed out. Aaron Alderkey and all that. And I thought you would have gone for Spieth back in the day for South Africa.
Nearly. I just think Dwayne, I mean, been around as well. In played in Ireland, played in France, played in South Africa. I thought he was unbelievable in that 2019 World Cup final. Obviously, I was cheering on England. He was unbelievable. Um, just top notch. And just like I said, there's probably better. No, well, there more than likely are better number 8s. But for me, just summed up what a number 8 should be. And I just, yeah. Right.
Right. Scrum
Well,
off.
yeah, let's rattle through these quickly because I've got to get the kids to bed. I went Aaron Smith, number 9. I thought about Fowry Dupria, but I only saw like the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go with that. It didn't feel right. So I went for Aaron Smith.
Mate, you got some good ones there. You got Aaron Smith, you got TJ Perinara, you got Will Genia. Some people would choose Ben Youngs, Danny Kerr, but for me, it would have to be George Cregan.
Yeah.
Even though the best thing I ever watched was Mike Tyndall dump tackle him in a World Cup final, but George Cregan was a baller, mate.
Yeah.
He was a baller for Australia.
Yeah. World Cup winner with them in '99.
Yeah, World Cup winner.
Nice. 10.
There's only 2 people in the world you can chat about, mate.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to cheat by having one at 10 and one at 12.
You can do that.
I haven't, and I regret it.
Who have you gone for at 10?
I've gone for DC.
I've gone for Wilco, mate.
Nice, I'm happy either way. I wanted to put Wilco at 12, but the guy I've got at 12 is just the best overall 12 I think I've ever seen. So I couldn't. Yeah. Ugh. But I'm glad that you have. But Dan Carter, just overall the best. There's a few things that Wilco could do better than him, but just the style, the class, the way he glided around, the skill. He's the kind of bloke that you watch him doing his stuff. I remember watching him doing his stuff in 2011. And how old was I? I was, 17. And I was going up to the park with a couple of my mates thinking, yeah, I could do that. Just unbelievable, mate. And the redemption story, got dumped out of the World Cup in 07. All right, it was a forward pass by the French, but there we go. 11 World Cup injured, 15 World Cup delivered. Unbelievable for the Crusaders for so long. Went to Perpignan for a little bit, but just unbelievable. You can say hello, darling?
Hello.
Well, you got to go and brush your teeth, sweetheart.
But yeah, but Johnny at 10, yeah, you can't. Although I've disagreed, you can't really argue that.
I think it's just general opinion. It's either them two. But again, you still got other fly-offs and that. You got Ronan O'Gara, mate. People
Yeah.
would say Ronan O'Gara. People could say Larkham. We can't forget Larkham, how much of a player he was.
I've not really ever seen him, Larkham, but I will say I watched the highlights of 1989 Lions. Michael Liner was a serious player.
Yeah, you had Liner, great player. You had Mertens, Andrew Mertens,
Yeah.
great player. You could go to Stransky for South Africa in '95, great player.
Morning
You had
Fame.
Morning.
I also used to really like Stephen Jones.
Yeah, Stephen Jones was a great player.
Good player, yeah.
Then.
But I think Carter and Johnny are so far ahead of everyone else, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know people might disagree with that, but I just think that it's so hard between. I just think Carter was easier on the eye sometimes. Johnny could do the flash stuff as well, but because Carter played for the All Blacks and the Crusaders, he was encouraged to do that more.
Yeah. I think Wilkinson was best flair was when he went to Toulon.
Oh, yeah. But if Johnny had grown up in New Zealand, would he have been the same style as Carter? Probably.
I think Wilkinson played he was a good systematic player. But when you got him with flair, when he had Matt Gitto outside him, you saw a world-class Wilkinson. And you got to remember, Wilkinson had 5 years off injured.
Yeah. Well, between the 03 and 07, he hardly played.
That's what I mean. And he come back for that World Cup, and we got to the final and lost.
Yeah.
For a dodgy decision.
Well, the Cueto try.
Yeah. Which has been proven a try, but again, do leave that. I'm not bitter.
You know what? I loved that World Cup because the England team had no right getting as far as they did, but they were full of character, weren't they? They scrapped and just fought their way. Johnny's left boot and the forwards, led by Phil Vickery, class. Right. Do you want to do centres or wingers next?
Got to do centres, mate. Got to keep it.
Ma Nonu, Brian O'Driscoll.
Ma Nonu, 12. My 13 is Conrad Smith.
I see what you've done there.
New Zealand.
If we're just picking individuals to put into a computer, O'Driscoll goes in there. But as a partnership, Nonu and Smith, unbelievable, mate.
I would say
Everything.
Yeah, New Zealand. If they're in trouble, those centres would run riot, and they'll create space. O'Driscoll is the best, one of the best centres going. But New Zealand at that time with Ma Nonu and Conrad Smith.
Well, you say at that time, for so long they were so good together.
Exactly. And that's why I've had to keep them together. That's the best partnership, I think, centre-wise you'll ever get.
Do you know what? I don't think I can disagree with you there.
They did it for so long.
Yeah. Right. Wingers.
Number 11's standard, mate. Everyone will probably choose him.
I changed this at the last minute.
Jonah Lummy, mate.
Oh,
God of rugby.
I didn't feel like I could pick him because I'd never watched him on the telly or it's just videos I've seen. So and obviously, I was only a year old when he burst on the scene in '95. Yeah. But I did put Brian Abana.
Yeah, he deserves it.
And I changed it at the last minute to put in a little bit of a modern day Lomu. Julian Savea.
Player.
In that 2015 World Cup, when they played France in the quarter-final, my God.
Yeah.
He smashed them to bit. The pace, the power, bouncing people left, right and centre, dummying people. The foot, unbelievable, mate. But Brian Habana, as you can see, I'm going to cover up my last four, but I started writing B. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to go for something different because I've always put Habana. But Habana was that Springbok side of the World Cup and the Lions. Oh my God, he was electric, wasn't he? People think just pace merchant, but he's so smart.
Oh, he was class for Toulon when he went there, South Africa. The guy's a very good player. He hasn't made my top team.
Ooh. Who have you got on the right wing then?
The right wing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. You're gonna laugh at me, yeah? Josh Lucy.
I thought he was more of a fullback. I'm going to
Played
bump
winger.
you on this because you're. I'm not taking the piss here. You're a bit older than me.
No, there's a reason why he would have been fullback, but I think that gives my fullback who I'm gonna have.
I thought, yeah, all right. I think that works. Yeah, I've sussed you out there. Personally, if I had to, I would have swapped them round. But okay, my 14. I've gone for Jack Nowell.
Ooh.
There's,
Yeah, you kept the
there's,
Cornish vibe, yeah.
there's better wingers, but I love the guy. He's from the same village my granddad grew up in. I just think I'd take away the Cornish aspect. I think there's better wingers, obviously, but I just love the way he played. Bit of chaos, broken field, maverick. That try he scored Fexter when he plucked out the air with one hand. Just a bit of a ball of energy and a great character. A bit different. I just thought, yeah, brilliant. Class. I think on his best day, Jack Nowell was a hell. Well, I say is. When he's at his peak and not injured, he is a serious operator. And but always played with a smile on his face. But there's better wingers, but to watch, I thought he's just, and obviously Cornishman as well. But yeah, Josh Lucy, he was ex-army as well, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, it was ex-army and then obviously Wasps.
Yeah.
But he performed for years, mate. Like he was at the top of his game for years. The power he had, the speed. He was a player and a half, mate. If it wasn't for Lomu being on the other side, I probably would have had Habana or Cheslin Colby. But Jonah Lomu, mate, I watched him when I was about 95. I was 7 years old. Do you know what I mean? And you just saw this man who ran over one of my idols as well, Rory Underwood and stuff like that. When I watched him run over his brother, and like honestly, mate, it was just like, my God.
He changed the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he made rugby, like he was the first ever superstar in rugby.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Syria, right, 15.
15, it was between two players.
You've gone Jason Robinson, haven't you?
I've gone Jason Robinson, but Christine Cullen was there.
Yeah.
But Jason Robinson, because of the way he was in rugby league, went to Union, what he did in that 2001 Lions tour, when he scored that try within 5 metres, just literally went round the guy like
in such a narrow corridor. I've got Johnny Wilkinson's book upstairs, and the way he talks about that try, it's from a fan. You sort of understand his description, makes you understand how difficult that was.
And I'll tell you what, just the fact that when he got the ball, he was exciting. I've watched him live a few times as well. Same as Johnny Wilkinson, I've seen Johnny Wilkinson play when he was at Toulon, but I remember watching Sale in the final, must have been a Prem final quite a few years back. Watching Jason Robinson's feet, like, you're going to laugh at me, it's so sad. but watching his feet on the ground moving, you couldn't fucking see him.
Yeah, I know.
That's how quick, and that's the reason why you beat Christian Cullen. Even though Cullen, oh my god, what a player, what a fullback. And I know that a lot of people go, yeah, but you've got hardly any new players in. But the reason why you don't have these new players in is because you're protected now. There's so much protection with rugby. Back then, there was no protection. You got stood, stamped, whatever, and you had to carry on playing unless you were seriously injured. So I think those players are like the greats, and yeah, Robinson's my 15. I got a little soft spot for him because of like speed of his feet and just the
Yeah,
way that he was. Beat a player 1-on-1, you couldn't stop him.
nice. No, I you can't argue with that. One of the, and to think how old was he when he transferred from rugby league to union?
It's got to have been like 28, maybe 27.
And he went straight in the England team, didn't he?
Yeah, that's how good he was in league. He was scary in rugby league,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
Like he won everything. He could you could think about it, but I think he won everything.
Yeah.
And in reality, Josh Lucy did the same. He won everything you could in rugby as well. He won premierships. He won the Heineken Cup
World
at
Cup.
the time, World Cups, Grand Slams, Six Nations. He done it all, and like yeah, I know that people say that you can't choose it because of that, but I'm choosing it because of what they did for their clubs as well. And they were great for their clubs.
Yeah. Unbelievable, mate. My 15. You might raise your eyebrows at this one. One of the most naturally talented rugby players I've ever seen. Been around all different clubs. Played in France a lot. Played in his home country clubs. If you'd have said to me as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, click your fingers and you can play like any back you wanted to, it'd be this guy. Francois Steyn.
Francois Steyn.
Mate, I cannot describe how good. Play 10, 12, 13, 15. You know, to nail, it's not all about kicking, obviously, but to come on in to start at inside centre at 20 years old in a World Cup final and hit that penalty like he did, to score 3 penalties from inside his own half in one night against New Zealand. I love how he developed his game. As he got older, he lost a bit of pace and bulked up. He's like 110 kilos in the centre, smashing people around. Smart, aggressive, clever, skills. Like I said, he played 10 in France, hit a drop goal from 25 miles away. Just talent, pure, natural ability. And I just think on his best day, absolute force.
Oh, definitely absolute force line. But sadly for me, you don't make it, mate.
Yeah. Like I said, this is if I was picking the 15 best players in their best position, let's be brutally honest, the 2 Cornishmen probably don't make it. Phil Vickery's got an argument. You could argue Dusatoir doesn't make it, Vermeulen doesn't make it, Julian Savia probably doesn't. I think the centre's all right. Marler doesn't make it either. Number 6 was hard. I nearly went for, do you remember Jerome Kino?
Mate, he's a player. No joke. If it wasn't for him, New Zealand wouldn't have done certain stuff.
Yeah. 15, I nearly went for Will Jordan.
Will Jordan,
I know current, but he's
earned the right, mate. Like I say,
serious fullback. You could argue the best. Oh no, actually, he's up there with one of the best out and out fullbacks New Zealand have had since Christian Cullen. But my number 2 fullback, I had Jordan as number 3, and I thought, no, recency bias. Ben Smith.
Oh, Ben Smith, or even Mills Miliaina.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, mate.
That's the best thing about doing these. There's so many in there.
Yeah,
There's
but
so many.
you could put is it the French one at the moment? You could put him in there.
Yeah.
He's doing smashing it. Is it Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put Thomas in it, mate. He's smashing it for France. He's doing well.
Talking of France, neither of us mentioned Antoine Dupont.
I don't choose
Do you think it's a bit early to be putting him
not
in like
early.
all-time 15?
When you look at my number 9, what's my number 9 done?
Yeah.
Until he wins a World Cup,
Serial winner.
yeah, he's won stuff with Toulouse. Toulouse, look at their budget, massive compared to a lot of other people. France, they're in a generation, but again, I understand when they don't play, they're shit. Dupont's that good, but when you look at like Gregan and all that, they've won World Cups, mate.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, he needs to win a World Cup to put himself as the best of the best scrum half. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I just thought it was interesting that he didn't even get a mention. I thought he deserved a mention. Is there anyone, before we sign off, anyone you think deserves an honourable mention out of any position?
I'll be honest with you, yeah. Number 6, he was very close. Jerry Collins.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was talking about him yesterday because in 2015 I was in Toulon and we went to it was a charity match organised in his memory.
Yeah.
Obviously, he died, and I don't know if this is. I'm pretty sure this is true. That he, in the car crash, he unclipped himself and turned round to shield his daughter.
Yeah. He protected his daughter, and that's how she lived.
So that's big, isn't it?
Yeah.
In this, obviously, it was during the World, just before the World Cup in 15. But you had all the internationals were away, so you had the Toulon team without the international players against an All Blacks sort of legends team, if you like.
Yeah.
Ali Williams played, Carlos Spencer played, people like that. And in the, funnily enough, in the walking back to where I was staying at that time, me and a mate of mine bumped into two of the All Blacks, Ali Williams and the other guy, I can't remember his name. I've got a picture, and Ali Williams is like towered above us. But yeah, Jerry Collins, serious. Again, in McCaw's book, he talks a lot about, is it Rodney
CLO.
Cialo and Jerry Collins? Obviously, in his sort of earlier All Black career, that was the back row trio.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. Jerry Collins very popular in Wales because I think he went and played for the Ospreys, and there's some stories about him
When he
enjoying
went to
himself
watch, when he went to a pub and he went to Tesco's to buy a TV so he could watch a bit of rugby,
and just
and
left the TV.
he left the TV in the pub.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? That's what those boys are like, though, aren't they? Like all, yeah. It was a shame what happened that day. But I think the career-wise, Jerry Collins would always be up there as one of the best.
No doubt. No doubt.
But again, I went for a World Cup winning 6 because they hit the height of the sport. They hit the height, and it sounds horrible that some players I've chosen haven't won World Cups. But again, I personally think when you've got, it's like anything like in life, isn't it? It's like if you've got a player who's at the top of his game but never wins anything. Let's say Harry Kane, right?
And we look at Steve. I know he won the Champions League, but Steven Gerrard in terms of Premier League
won nothing. Won no Premier League. But if you look at Harry Kane, who's just won his first title now in Munich, if he had never left Tottenham and he stayed at Tottenham, never won anything, people would be going, he won nothing.
Yeah,
he can't. He's not as good as Rooney because he didn't win anything.
I struggle with that a little bit, and I'm sure when we do our football 11, that debate will rear its head. But I think we'll leave it there, mate. Good debate, good lists. I like that. I think if our two teams played one another, it would be a bloody good game.
I don't think we'd be able to play, mate. Nonu can't play on two teams.
Well, we'd have to, and obviously Martin Johnson, we'd have to make a few concessions. But I think Jack Knowles scores the winning try.
Oh no!
Dan Carter knocks it over from the sideline.
Jesus.
Right, mate. Hey, nice to speak to you again.
And you, mate. Should I do next week?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Well, maybe one. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, and we'll see. We'll see what's what. Obviously,
I'm available up to. Yeah, I'm available next week. So just let me know, mate.
Nice. All right.
All
cool.
right.
And thank you for watching. This is episode 5. We're racking them up now, mate. And yeah, all the best. Take care.
And you, mate.